If you have enough money and power, you can pretty much do almost anything you want, no matter how crazy and ridiculous it may be. And being president of a country is pretty much as rich and powerful as almost anyone can get. However, becoming president is no easy feat. It takes a lot to get there, and on that sort of journey, you make a lot of friends and even more enemies. Presidents are usually the targets of a lot of assassination attempts, with several of them meeting untimely deaths while still in office. If the movie The Hitman's Bodyguard is to be believed, sometimes even AAA security is not enough. That's why these presidents have taken it up a notch. Some might say to extreme levels, but if you've got the power and money, why not? After all, even presidents have only one life. Let's get right into it. Narendra Damodardas Modi. It's amazing that even though India is still a third world country, the country's Prime Minister has such robust security. The 14th Prime Minister of the country, Narendra Damodardas Modi, has a 3,000-strong force, the Special Protection Group, or SPG. The country spends roughly $48 million every year protecting its Prime Minister. Where does all this money go? Into training and testing the elite force that is the SPG, and enough military equipment to arm a small army. For additional protection, members of the enviable SPG are all hand-picked or volunteers from the Central Armed Police Forces and the Railways Protection Force services. Before you volunteer, you should know that this is only the first step for admission into the SPG. Following selection, all potential bodyguards will have to undergo rigorous tests and crazy psychological tests in a 3-tier examining procedure. To ensure that only the elite can get close to the Prime Minister, a successful applicant has to undergo special training. This training is usually for over 6 to 9 months, leaving no room for error in the performance of their duty. The SPG was formed in 1985 after Indira Gandhi's own bodyguards shot her dead. When Modi moves around town, he's usually surrounded by the 3,000 men of the SPG and a motorcade that causes authorities to close the road to commercial or private commuters. In his convoy, the Prime Minister has 2 Mercedes Maybach S650, an armored BMW 760Li, 3 BMW 7 Series, 4 armored Range Rovers, 10 BMW X5s, 6 Toyota Fortuners, and 2 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter ambulances. As if this wasn't enough already, a Tata Safari electronic countermeasures car always accompanies Modi's convoy to ensure that the Prime Minister is safe from radio attacks, missiles, bombs, and a whole lot of other ammunition. An extra layer of security is the VR7 certification all vehicles present in Modi's convoy carry, which means that every car in this extravagant convoy can defend its occupants from machine gun fire to mine blasts. All this to protect one man seems a bit over the top, but just wait until you see some of the others on our list before you pass any comments. Next up is someone who needs little or no introduction, one of the richest men in the world and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud. If there's one man who needs all the security he can get, it's the man who doubles as Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud, popularly called MBS, and the reason for that is not far-fetched. Anyway, MBS sort of has a reputation in Saudi Arabia and the rest of the world after being tied to the death of beloved journalist Jamal Khashoggi, arresting several royals, seizing their assets and embarrassing them. Saying MBS has a huge target on his back is a gross understatement. It doesn't help that he's tied to many other scandals and has strained relationships with every government possible, even the Biden administration. So how is MBS able to sleep at night? With one hell of a security team. That's how. It's a good thing that MBS doesn't only have wealth and power, he is extremely crafty and intelligent too. With his position as Crown Prince and Minister of Defense, MBS took full control of Saudi Arabia's military, and while everyone thought he was improving it, MBS was secretly creating a super security team that will rival any other on our list and the world. he took over all the security agencies protecting royals, uniting them under one body, the Presidency of State Security, and gave them one purpose: his and his family's protection. He has a team of highly trained soldiers as his bodyguards, and they're always on the lookout for any harm to his well-being. The sheer amount and robustness of his security detail are enough to quell all forms of internal or external threats, and his security team continues to grow annually. Following MBS is a man with an even larger target on his back, the supreme leader of North Korea, Kim-Jong-un. As a ruthless dictator, Kim Jong-un eats enemies for breakfast, and he has no shortage of them, both internally and externally. The man is thorough and brutal. With his style of government, there will certainly be more people out to get this guy. That's why he needs an insane amount of security constantly protecting him. We'll allow you to guess just how many guards this man has, and chances are it's way more than that. If you've ever had the opportunity to see Kim Jong-un's security team, you will tremble, as they can be easily mistaken for an elite special ops division. However, they are controlled by some pretty unique rules, like how all of them must not be more than a certain height. You can guess why when you find out that the most ruthless dictator in the world is 5 feet and 5 inches tall. Nevertheless, Kim Jong-un has power, and as a reminder, his elite team of bodyguards must walk or run on foot whenever he travels by road. That's a lot of running, so another prerequisite of these bodyguards has to be an extreme level of fitness. These guards aren't just fit and snazzily dressed, they are from the Central Party Office 6, an elite team that is almost impossible to get into, and only the very best of the best are selected. The members of this elite guard are also extremely skilled in marksmanship, martial art, and a lot of other skills necessary for this sort of position. They're also subjected to intensive background checks down to the last member of their families, spanning at least 2 generations, to ensure no conflict of interest, weakness, or some long-term revenge for the president's many excesses. This guy knows exactly what he is, so he leaves no stone unturned. Things get to a whole new level when you find out that aside from these elite bodyguards, North Korea's #1 citizen has a whole unit of 100,000 men tasked with protecting him. The Supreme Guard Command, or Unit 963 as they are officially called, is overseen by General Yoon-jong-rin. For recruitment into Unit 963, recruiters target high schools where students are inspected for physical characteristics like the absence of facial scars and a well-rounded physique. The best candidates have their family histories checked for party loyalty and good songbun. Only one person from a family can serve in the Supreme Guard Command, so that is checked as well. Once chosen, familial contact is forbidden, and the candidate is given an ID number before being shipped off to a training camp for extremely rigorous training. What is outstanding is that Unit 963 comprises 100,000 officers, and these officers live their lives with the sole purpose of guarding one man. Topping our list is Russia's president, Vladimir Putin. It should come as no surprise to anyone that Putin tops our list. Russia is probably the most disliked country in the world right now, and its ruler, Vladimir Putin, is hated even more. The amount of people that want this guy dead is just crazy. One time, a US senator begged on national television for anyone in Russia to take this guy down. No wonder the Russian president is obsessed with his security team. He's always on guard against assassination attempts and any form of threat to his life. A former agent of the KGB, Putin is no stranger to espionage, threats, assassination attempts, and the like. He's been in power since the year 2000 and has managed to stay alive even now when the target on him is as large and attractive as ever in light of the Russia-Ukraine war. So, how does he manage? Vladimir Putin is protected against assassins and coup plotters by bodyguards armed with powerful handguns and bulletproof briefcases, look-alike stand-ins and food tasters. But the unit that takes the cake is his Musketeers. The Musketeers are an elite unit within Russia's Federal Protective Service, or FSO, which has its origins in 1881 when Tsar Alexander III surrounded himself with guards after his father was murdered by a bomb-throwing revolutionary. The Beyond Russia website has provided provided a lot of information that has been made public on the elite Presidential Security Service. To protect Putin, the Musketeers carry 9mm SR-1 Vector handguns developed in Russia that are equipped with armor-piercing bullets as well as special bulletproof briefcases. Advanced teams scout Putin's destinations months before his trip to determine how the public would likely react and even whether the area could be afflicted by extreme weather or natural disasters. Technicians assess the location where he will be staying, install jamming devices to stop explosives from being detonated remotely, and undertake electronic monitoring of nearby telephones and other devices. 4 rings of security surround him whenever he enters a public space, including his bodyguards, others who are camouflaged in the crowd, other guards who round the perimeter, and snipers placed on nearby rooftops. According to reports, Putin's bodyguards must be replaced at the age of 35, but they may also be allowed to advance to important new positions such as regional governors, federal ministers, special services commanders, and presidential administrators. It has been speculated that Putin has a double and doctors that taste everything he eats to make sure he's not poisoned. It's going to take something extra special to take this guy down. Who do you think is the most heavily guarded? Let us know in the comments below.